Hi everybody, this is going to be my first DTC video. Today I am looking at the Ryobi RHCKF01 flip utility knife. Now I'd seen a video on this a few months back and thought, hey, that looks pretty cool. It's kind of like the color, and said, hey, this is an alternative to the good old Milwaukee flip knife. Now, finding it, that was a different story. Now, I know the gentleman that did the review said he had a hard time finding it and had to do an order, and kind of looked on Ryobi's site and it was showing as coming soon and could never find it, and it always said coming soon for a couple months now at least. And did a Google search, and about the only place I could find it was a big box store up in Canada. So no knife. This past weekend I went to an outlet mall and they have those kind of direct sales, those outlet tool shops, and kind of walked in. There was a dude walking around. I kind of had seen they had the version of this that was a knife blade, but didn't see the utility knife, and kind of asked him, like, hey, do you got the Ryobi, looking for the Ryobi, the flip utility knife like the Milwaukee? He's like, oh, like kind of like one of these, but he pulls out either the Harbor Freight version of the Milwaukee or Milwaukee. I didn't get a good look. And then he's like, take a look there, and sure enough, a little ways down from the knife, there were two of the 01 utility knife versions sitting there. Now, as you can see here, two knives, they are roughly the same size. This is the 15-05, of course, Milwaukee with the screwdriver, which this does not have, but you can see the Ryobi is a little bit thicker. It's a little beefier. And the Ryobi does not lock when it folds in, but it's pretty tight. It's not going to go anywhere. Can't get it to open. But what it does have is the button here, which isn't fully expanded out, but you have to really press it to get it to drop open. Now, I've kind of got a bum shoulder. I had a shoulder surgery with my right arm, and to be honest, it's not very ergonomic where you got to press the button back here, whereas on the Milwaukee it's right here, and it's real easy to get at with your right hand. And to be honest, with your left hand, it's also very easy to get at. Now, in the short 30 minutes I've had the Ryobi unboxed, right now I've found that for me, right now, it's mostly a left-hand knife. It's actually very nice for the left hand. The button is in the perfect position to open it. So, but the right hand, I'm not sure if it's just because I don't have all my strength back in my right arm yet. It's very awkward to press the button right there. But when you reach across with the left, it's easy to press it. But I think it's just, you know, I think the person that first reviewed it had a good point. It's just because it's recessed, it's not as easy to get at. Especially, even there, with your right hand, with your thumb. Sorry for the little camera mishap there. It's just very awkward to get a good grip on the knife and hit your thumb there. You don't have positive grip on the knife, and you really got to squeeze hard. Now this does not appear to have any blade storage. Now you would think with a wide-bodied knife you might have some blade storage, but there does not appear to be any blade storage. Now it does have a very nice button here. You can see it's raised up very nicely and very easy to take a blade on and off. Now, the Milwaukee. Now, that is fairly easy as well, but you have this little piece of metal here which is probably a safety right there that makes it a little harder to get at the button, where the Ryobi does not have that little protection there, so it's a little easier to press the blade release. Now I think I do like this a little better. It's a little bit easier, but at the same time, how many times do you replace the blade? It's once in a while, so with the Milwaukee I can kind of deal with the little bit more difficulty to get at it. And if for some reason you're putting your thumb on up here, it's maybe a little bit safer that it's harder to press the Milwaukee in. Now I wish this were easier with the right hand, being right-handed. Now it's really nice with the left hand, but it's just not efficient with the left hand. But I mean, even with the left hand, you got your hand back here, so you do have a pretty good grip on it. Whereas, and the same with the Milwaukee. But this feels more natural than this, even with the left hand. And this, I mean, it's honestly the weight just in the hand. I'm sure the Ryobi's a little bit lighter, but feels comparable. It definitely feels like a well-built utility knife, and I'm sure it's going to hold up really well. Unfortunately for me, it's just not as easy to deploy, especially right-handed. I can't get it with the pocket clip. I just can't get a good grip right-handed. Although, now that I'm using it more, maybe it's just a matter of getting used to it. Nope. Yeah, it's definitely a very capable flip knife, but right now I think I'll stick with the Milwaukee, but I think with maybe some use, I think I could get used to it. I definitely like the solid feel. It's got a nice feel in the hand. The Milwaukee's got the grip there and kind of similar there, but you can come up here with the Ryobi. So you got this right here, so you can kind of get it up a little bit further. Whereas the Milwaukee, you're holding it back here. I mean, you can't really comfortably get up there. But on here, you do have on the 1505 at least, you have the wire cutter on the Milwaukee. So yeah, I think I'm definitely going to give the Ryobi some time. and see how I do with it. And I think the more I use this, the more natural it's going to become. Thing with the Milwaukee is it was natural right away, but I think this is doable. And I definitely like the feel in the hand. It kind of feels a little bit more like to me, like a standard knife, even though it's a utility knife. Yeah, I think start using it for some chores around the house. Might be interesting. You see the paneling in the background. I've got another knife I'm going to review, which I think would have worked better for the paneling, but it would have been interesting to see how both the Milwaukee and this Ryobi would have worked for cutting paneling. Because that is a chore, let me tell you, when you got to do 2 rooms of paneling. It's a lot of cutting with the utility knife. But yeah, overall, now that I'm somewhat getting used to the Ryobi, I think it'll be a good knife. It's definitely got some pluses, which are a little bit easier, the release of the blade and the grip here. I think it'll be good. Just a matter of getting used to this different button. But time will tell. So yeah, that's the Ryobi RHCKF01. If you get a chance, if you see it, it might be worth a look. Yeah, as of right now, I'm kind of digging the Milwaukee a little bit better, but given some time, I might give an update and see which one I like. I will say the styling is better on the Ryobi. I happen to like the green better, but yeah, and maybe it's got a little more style like a standard knife, but yeah, we'll see how it does real world test after a month or 2 and see what I think. All right, take care all.